Hi, come on in. Welcome. We're playing Frank Sinatra because this is called Summer Wind. And I don't know if you know it, but summer ended and we're now officially in fall. And so this is my morning song. Although I'm out here on the East Coast and it is beautiful in the fall here. Come in. If you're just joining us, welcome. Alex is here in the chat. Feel free to say hey to everybody. Feel free to get some Frank Sinatra vibes going. Hi, it's great to see everyone. I can't wait to talk about this topic today. Ooh, I'm so excited. Frank is kicking us off. Get your water, get your tea. I've got both. So glad to see everybody. Hi Sam, hi Jacqueline. Hey Todd, hey Abraham, Taylor, Alex. We're just gonna give people another minute or so to join us and feel the Frank Sinatra vibes before we jump in. Come on in. So great to see everybody. Welcome to Demio's amazing platform. Welcome to our experience together as a group. This isn't a webinar. This is really more of a party, an educational party, if we can call it that. So glad to see you all. I see people are still coming in, so welcome. Let us know your name and where you're from in the chat. I promise this next 40 minutes together that we're going to spend is going to be the best 40 minutes of your day. I promise that. That's a commitment I'm making to you. And it starts with a little music. All right. I think we're ready. What do you all think? Should we get down to business? Start talking about the stuff that you all came here to hear about? All right, let's do it. I'm going to turn off my music here. So this is what we're talking about today. In case you somehow landed here by mistake, we're talking about webinars that convert, how to craft webinars that inspire action and drive revenue. So if you're not really interested in that, you might have found yourself in the wrong spot. But my guess is that you are in the right spot. You're exactly where you belong. So thanks for being here. I'm Ashley. That's me on the screen. It's nice to meet you. I am the VP of Marketing at Banzai. Banzai is the parent company of Demio. Demio is the incredible, beautiful platform that you're on right now, by the way. So basically what I do at Banzai is I help marketers just like you put on incredible events that specifically drive experiences and connections for their attendees. So you are here because you are interested in conversions, which is exactly what your job is. And I'm here to talk to you about how events can drive conversions, and they can also do it in a way that doesn't make your audience hate you. Because we've all been to webinars and events that were poorly run and that we wanted to leave in the middle of, right? So we're here to talk about how to make all of those things magically work out in our favor. So a few housekeeping notes. You are on Demio's platform. It is a beautifully seamless platform that has a ton of cool features like the chat. So the chat is your home base. I want you to continue to find yourselves in the chat throughout our session today. It's where you can connect with me, you can ask me questions, and my colleague Alex will flag them and raise them up so we can answer as many as we can. And it's where you can ask questions of each other. If someone has a question in the chat that you know the answer to, you have a suggestion for, you have a tip for, please support one another. We are here not just to learn from me, to learn from each other, right? We are a group of marketers who are all trying to do the same thing. So let's support one another and engage with one another in the chat. It's a great way to do it. So while you all continue to get teed up talking to each other in the chat, I am going to talk about what we're talking about today, which is webinars that convert. Let's be real. Conversions make the money, right? And as marketers, We want to impact that bottom line. That's our responsibility, right? So we're going to talk about how to create webinars that convert. And we're going to start by talking about why your webinars don't convert today. And we're going to let the Harvard Business Review actually kick us off. So this quote on the screen is directly from HBR. Here's what it says. Although brands may be liked or trusted, most fail to align themselves with the emotions that drive their customers' most profitable behaviors. So Alex is going to share a link with you so that you can go access this article yourself if you have interest in reading this, going into like a little rabbit hole, a deep dive on this article. I highly recommend it. We did the reading for you because it can be a little dense. There's a ton of great info in there, so feel free to bookmark it, read it later. Don't read it now. Read it later. Anyway, the idea here is even if you are a well-known and trusted brand, there is a gap in how you align with the emotions of your buyer. And that alignment is what actually drives sales. Okay, so I'm going to add a little emphasis here for you next to make this really clear. So this emphasis is mine, obviously. Let's start at the bottom. Can we agree that your customers' most profitable behaviors, this quote from HBR, those are conversions, right? That's what we're literally talking about. So let's read this one more time. Although brands may be liked or trusted, most fail to align themselves with the emotions that drive conversions. Right? Did I just hear a mic drop somewhere? Your webinars aren't converting because you aren't aligning yourself with the customer emotions that drive conversions. Somewhere along the line in the digital age, we all as marketers forgot that people buy on emotion. That is what drives people's buying behavior. We got so tied up with the metrics and the data and the clicking and the opening and the da-da-da-da-da that we forgot that we have a responsibility to speak to our buyers' emotional behavior. So here's how they found this in this HBR report. The authors identified nearly 300 emotional motivators. I'm putting that in quotes because that's a language they use. And they used big data analytics to link those behaviors to profitable behaviors. So they found that firms can identify and leverage these particular emotional motivators that will actually maximize their competitive advantage and their growth. So this is a big, legit study, and there's a lot of data and graphs and blah, 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 blah. So let's just look at a couple of them just to get oriented. Yes, English, please. Your webinars are not converting because you're not aligning yourself with the customer emotions that drive conversions. Exactly. All right, here are those graphs. There are two graphs from the same study that are on this slide. First, HBR authors found that customers who were fully emotionally connected to a brand, that's the blue tall line that you see on the very first graph, that is fully connected. Fully emotionally connected to a brand, they generated 52% more value. Fully emotionally connected equals 52% more value. And the graph on the right shows you a breakdown by industry. Literally every single industry benefited from creating full emotional connections with their audience. Tablet apps, credit card swipes, hotel room stays, online purchases, literally everything went up dramatically when the brand aligned emotionally with their audience. So the potential payoff for getting this right for your brand is hard to imagine, right? But at this point, you probably just want to know, okay, great. How do I do that? How do I make these emotional connections? Because we know it can be really tough. So let's go into why so many businesses struggle with this. Now, I alluded to this at the beginning of this conversation. We get so wrapped up as marketers with the funnel and the metrics and the operations and the way people move through our deal stages. This is the funnel that we were taught, right? This picture on the screen: awareness, evaluation, action, money. This is how we've been trained as marketers to think about how we create our content, how we create our experiences for our buyers. You probably think of your content as top of funnel or bottom of funnel. Am I right? Am I right that most marketers use that language to help them identify the types of things they're creating for their audience? You work to bring people to the top when they're aware of a problem, influence them as they evaluate, you inspire them to take action, and you profit. But guess what? This funnel is all about you. It's all about us as the sellers, right? That's why this funnel is broken. Because we as marketers somewhere along the line in the digital marketing age forgot to market in a way that exclusively focused on our prospects and our customers and their experiences. So if you're having trouble making emotional connections with your audience, or you don't feel that you understand the emotional motivators of your buyers, you need to throw out the idea of pushing people through this funnel. We have to start with the emotional connection because we know that's going to provide value, right? And my guess is if this existing funnel was already providing a ton of value for you, you might not be on the session with me today. So keep your mind open to thinking about this a new way. HubSpot found in a recent industry report that they did that 3% of people, buyers, trust sales and marketers. 3%. I didn't say that incorrectly. 3. I wonder why. I wonder why our buyers don't trust sales and marketers. They come to us with a problem that they have, and we can't stop talking about ourselves, right? No wonder it doesn't resonate emotionally. No wonder we're having so much problem here. So Alex is going to link you to this infographic as well, so that you can take a look at that HubSpot article. Okay, so here is where we want to get to. We've identified some problems. We've identified why it is the way it is. Let's start talking about some solutions, okay? So here's the real buyer's journey. Instead of thinking about a funnel, let's think about our buyer's journey as a series of emotional states, okay? Stay with me. The top line that you see here on the slide, awareness, consideration, action, and money, is how your business measures the buying journey, AKA the old funnel we just looked at, right? The way your buyers experience their buying journey is as a series of emotional states, which we find at the bottom. Emotional state, emotional state, emotional state, desired feeling. We'll talk more about that in a minute. And really, we should know this, right? Does anyone here, as a consumer, as a buyer yourself, wake up one day and go, oh yeah, I am now aware that I have a problem? No. They feel a sensation first. They feel discouraged. They feel frustrated that they're now having a problem. They are experiencing something. It is a feeling. It's not an awareness, right? It's a difference in how we think about, how we feel about this moment for our buyers. To make it real, let's talk about an example. If you woke up tomorrow and your car wouldn't start, do you call the repair shop and go, hey there, I was made aware this morning that my car no longer works. I am evaluating repair shops. Why should I choose you? No. You are angry that your car isn't working. You're frustrated that you're going to be late to work. B2B buyers are the same. Even if the urgency isn't always car won't start urgency, the feelings are the same. And that's what we want to start recognizing in our buyer's experience. So let me give you an example here of what happens at Demio so that you can really put this into perspective. This is one emotional buying journey for some of our customers here at Demio. We're going to model it here for you so that you can see exactly how this breaks down. So they start in a state of apprehension. That is the feeling state that we're starting off with, which is apprehension. That emotional state we talked about, look at the bottom. Apprehension. They're discouraged because they need to generate more leads and more revenue at work. So you see this little quote here. It says, I'm behind on revenue and I'm feeling discouraged at work. We know this is true because we talk to marketers every single day and they come to us and say, the reason I'm looking for webinar platforms maybe is because of something else. It's because I have a responsibility to revenue. I have a responsibility to lead generation. I have a responsibility to kick a certain number of SQLs to sales, da, 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 da. They have metrics and measurements, and they're feeling frustrated that they're not hitting those. That's what happens first, right? Then they find Demio's website, and suddenly they begin to feel optimistic. Maybe webinars are the solution for helping them drive revenue. Maybe. Webinars in general are the solution. Maybe. That's optimism. So that quote that you see here says, I'm optimistic webinars are the solution. So they start a trial on Demio's website. Once their free trial goes well, they become confident that webinars can make an impact because they just tried it. So they went from optimism to confidence because now they have some evidence. They have a little data, a little something to back them up. My free trial made an impact. This is going to work. So they asked their boss to buy the platform. And now they are recognized as a kick-ass webinar marketer who went from feeling discouraged to feeling confident and recognized in their organization. They're impactful. They're no longer worried about or discouraged in feeling focused on revenue and feeling behind on leads, right? They've come full circle. That's how the buyer experienced this journey, right? In an emotional one. The buyer was going through this journey trying to reach what we call a desired feeling. This is how they want to feel at the very end. I'm recognized as a kick-ass webinar marketer by my colleagues. If they didn't have a desired feeling, they would never feel frustrated at the beginning, right? Because the conflict lies in the fact that they are not feeling the way they want to feel. They want to feel like they're making an impact. They want to feel like they're doing a good job at their work. They want to feel like they're meeting the goals and expectations that have been put upon them, and they're not feeling that way, right? So that's the desired feeling where they're trying to get to. So let's bring it back to you. If you want your webinars to drive conversion actions, they have to align with the emotions that your buyers are feeling, not the arbitrary deal stage your business designed. That's not what we're focusing on, okay? Couple more Demio examples. And if you have questions, again, feel free to drop them in the chat at any point. Questions, comments, ideas, feel free to drop them in the chat. I'll keep going. So we're going to zoom in really close on one part of this emotional journey. We're going to kind of take a little a micro view here. So here we have some optimistic webinar marketers. They had a problem. They were feeling discouraged because they were behind revenue at work, right? We just heard this, but now they're feeling optimistic. They think maybe webinars can be the answer, but we're trying to bring them toward their desired feeling. So we want them to feel more confident and more impactful because that's the next stage in their journey. That's going to get them a little closer to that desired feeling. So we at Demio run an event to help them along their emotional journey. And it is called How to Run a Webinar So People Won't Leave in the Middle. And notice the little byline. I'll read it for you in case it's too small on the screen. How Demio's newest features drive engagement, foster relationship building, and generate revenue. So we're not only helping them feel confident and impactful, we're showing them how to do it with our product. This is a win-win because they want to feel confident. They want to feel that desired feeling, right? They want to feel impactful, and we want them to use our product. So now we've aligned emotions with profitable behaviors. Remember that quote from HBR in the beginning? Brands might be liked, but they will fail to align emotions to their customers' most profitable behaviors. And so that's what Demio did here, right? Any questions about that? You all picking up what I'm putting down? I'm going to take a sip of my tea. Just make sure everyone's following me. All right, I'm not seeing any smoke signals, so I'm going to keep going. Let's do one more example just to really solidify this for the group. Here's the very end of that journey. So we have webinar marketers who are feeling confident, and they're feeling confident that Demio is the solution. They just learned about those new Demio features on that other webinar that I just mentioned. Remember at the start, their issue was they were behind on revenue. So now we just need to make a link between webinars and revenue, right? That's the connection we have to make for people. So that's what we do through this event, driving revenue with interactive webinar experiences. How Demio is reimagining webinars to help you stand out in a sea of noise. This webinar is telling them point blank, very clearly, Demio can help you drive revenue and stand out, and we're going to show you how to do it. That's what people learned when they came to that webinar. So once they've seen how we can help them reach their desired feeling of being a recognized kick-ass marketer who's driving revenue, once they get that, then they become a Demio customer. Now notice, they became a customer when purchasing Demio was the next step in realizing their feeling. They were at the end of that emotional journey, right? They didn't buy Demio because they were done evaluating and now they're purchasing. They didn't buy Demio just because they needed a webinar platform. They bought Demio because Demio helped them reach a feeling of confidence. We helped them find what they needed to move forward. Does that make sense? No smoke signals. Okay, Darnell. Let's keep going. That's basically the crux of it, right? So how can you apply this to your own business? All you need to do is use the emotional buying journey template that we're going to share, and then fill in the emotional states that your buyers are experiencing along the way. Take some time and really think about this. By the way, just a quick note, this is absolutely how you should be running webinars, but this is not exclusive to webinars. As marketers, we should be marketing all of our content in this way. You have to take a step back, and if you're not actively thinking about the emotional experience of your market, this is a great place to start. Use this template not only to help you design upcoming webinars, but make sure you're considering this when you're doing your social posts, your blog posts, your emails, when you're thinking about what kind of content is going to work best, what kind of content is going to help me feel more connected, right? That's where I think webinars really shine. So download what Alex just sent off for you and use it to help you organize your thoughts. So while you're doing that, I want to hear what you think your buyer's desired feeling is. Drop that for me in the chat. How do you think your buyers want to feel when they buy your product? How do they need to feel in order to purchase your product? Think about it. Confidence. That's a big one for us here at Demio. If you're selling Simply Safe, right, the safety at home safety system, you might be selling the feeling of safety, right? That's what you're really selling. You're selling a product, but you're selling a feeling, right? Yeah, a lot of confidences. I love that. Confidence and control is unique. Satisfied. Nice. Good, you guys. Connected. Yes. Also, isn't this so true of just our humanness today? You know, I think the pandemic can't be denied in the way that people's feelings around buying have changed. And I'm noticing more and more, I'm hearing more and more from our customers and our own experience in selling our products as well, that people are looking for a way to connect with people, to feel a sense of stability, to feel more confident and less scared, right? There's a lot of that going on right now. I think that resonates. Make their lives easier, yes, and free up time. Save me time, save me money. Protect my precious resources. Time and money are resources people do not throw away lightly. Good, good, you guys, I like that. Okay, now we have an emotional journey. One thing left to do, and that is seal the deal. So make the next step easy with a timely offer for your audience. Timely offers are the icing on your emotional conversion cake, right? We want to help guide them through their emotional journeys. Thinking about emotional journeys does not mean that we are hands off. It does not mean, just because we broke down the funnel, doesn't mean that we aren't still helping to guide them through their states. You've already aligned yourself with your buyer's emotions, but we want to make it easy on them. And we want them to choose us, right? So using a timely offer such as a discount or some kind of exclusive content really helps to drive that home. I'll show you another example from us to you. A meta example is what I like to call it. So this is a real life offer for you real life people out there. For newcomers on this session, if you have never been a Demio trial user, don't worry if you are, I'm going to come to you next. If you've never been a Demio trial user, this is for you. Go start a free trial in the next 48 hours, and we will send you personally our kick-ass webinar toolkit. What is the kick-ass webinar toolkit? I'm so glad you asked. It literally has everything you need to run incredible webinars, checklists to help you before your event, guides for creating frameworks, promotional checklists, Canva templates, LinkedIn templates, survey templates. Need I go on? I mean, this is literally loaded with helpful tools, and we're big on helpful tools. We're all about actionable content. We want you to be able to actually take what we're learning here and apply it into your own business, into your own webinar. And this is exactly how you do that, right? We don't want to just be up here with these lofty ideas. We want to be tangible. How do we make it actionable, right? How do we make it impactful for your business? So Alex just fired off a featured action called free trial. Click that link now. Go start that trial. Just do it before you forget. All you have to do is your name and your email address. It's like super easy. No credit card required. Okay, now I promised all of my wonderful Demio trial users who are already in a trial, I've got something for you too. For those of you who are already in a Demio trial right now, and maybe this includes the people who just went and signed up, it sure does. If you start a paid plan in the next 7 days, we're going to take 25% off that first month of your paid plan. That's it. All you have to do is upgrade your plan, use this coupon for 25% off discount. Alex is going to fire that off. Thank you, Alex. You see it up there. Go ahead and download that. It's called 25% off 1 month Demio discount. If you're on a trial right now, or if you know you're about to start a trial, snag that. Do not lose an opportunity to do discounts. We don't do them very often. Oh, and if you just started a trial, like I said, like in the last 30 seconds when I just fired off that other one for you, this is for you too. You can get the best of both worlds. You can get that toolkit and you can get this discount. We're going to email it over to you, so don't freak out if you didn't get a chance to download it right now. Okay, customers. Are you a Demio customer? We love you so much. We're so happy you're here. You are not forgotten. But what do you get a human who has everything, right? You've already got Demio's platform. What more could you need? That should already be making all your wishes and dreams come true, right? Well, I think you deserve a little swag, actually. Definitely can assure you that you don't have enough Demio swag. So, current customers, go sign up for our Do More with Less newsletter. Alex just fired this off. Do More with Less is exactly what we're talking about here. It is a curated newsletter where I share with you on a weekly basis. I personally write this email every single week, and it is actionable content. That newsletter includes ungated access to white papers, checklists, templates, infographics, the stuff that you can't find anywhere else. I break it down for you, ways to make your business, ways to implement these ideas into your business. That's what that is. Demio customers, you go subscribe to that, and we're going to send you some fun swag to use around the office. If you're already a customer and you're already on Do More with Less, just email me and I will personally send you swag. Ashley@demio.com. And congratulations, because you're so ahead of the curve. All right, team, let's summarize. These are your 3 steps to higher converting webinars. 1, identify emotional motivators. This is step 1. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You start here. If you do not know the emotional motivators of your audience, ask them. Surveys, market research. Ask them questions about how they feel, right? Don't exclusively ask people questions about how they buy without considering how they feel when they buy. That is going to help you identify thematic keywords around their emotional motivators, right? Number 2, then create content that appeals to those emotions, right? And number 3, nudge them forward with a gentle offer. And that's it. 30 minutes of brilliant content for you, some awesome little offers for you here at the end, and we still have time for questions and answers. So, what questions do you have for me? I'm gonna drink some of my tea while we take a look at some of these questions. I'm just gonna take a look at the chat here. Let's see. Okay. Great. Oh, great. Thanks, Barry. If you all don't have any questions, that's great too. If questions come up for you, Ashley@demio.com. Otherwise, any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We have a couple minutes. I'm happy to answer anything that I can. Any advice we can give to our guest speakers to help them convert? Good question, Rachel. So I'm assuming that you are using a good old strategy, one of my favorites, where you invite guest speakers onto your webinar who are also your target audience. I love that. I do that all the time. We do it on our podcast too. So my best advice on doing this is make it really, really easy for them to join you as a guest speaker. And this really is about prep. So you take the bulk of the responsibility. Prep the agenda for any rehearsals, prep expectations clearly, prep promotional assets, promotional timelines, promotional calendars, promotional UTMs, prep everything they need to be successful. Because what you have to remember is your brand is a part of this experience. And every interaction, every moment they have with you is a part of that filing away in relation to your product or service, right? It adds to their emotional bucket of how they feel about you. So if you show up in an organized, calm, professional, excited manner to have them, that is going to go a long way toward their ability to convert. And then of course, make yourself a timeline and plan for after that webinar is over. Thank you so much for joining me. I'd love to hear your feedback. What did you get out of it? How can I improve in the future? And what is the next thing we can do together? Always help guide them toward that next step. Should we do a newsletter swap? Should we do a live event together? Something else? Should we do something more formal? Maybe a sponsorship together? Can I offer you a free month on our platform just to hear your feedback on it? I would love your feedback. Those are some great ideas, Rachel. I love that question. What else? Chris asks, what are some good ways or questions to ask to identify emotional motivators? Great question. So I definitely will not pretend to be an expert in surveys, and there's a lot of great research that you can take a look at out there on how to conduct non-biased surveys to make sure that you're not moving people in a certain direction with your questions. But anything asking them how they feel. How did you feel for customers, for example? Excuse me. We'll ask questions a lot. How did you feel before using this platform? What were you using before this platform? And how did you feel when you were using it? We hear a lot. I was using another platform that was clunky, had poor audio quality, and didn't show me the analytics and results that I needed from my events. And so I felt frustrated. Okay, great. Now we have a feeling that we can identify. That's a thematic one that comes up quite a bit. People move over to Demio's platform because they were feeling frustrated with the platform that they were on, right? So ask them feeling questions that incorporate literally the word feel into your question, and you'll be much further along than the majority of other people asking questions. Alex has a good one. What happened the day you decided to look for a solution? Great. I love that. Amazing. All right, what else? Do webinars always have to be presented live? How differently do they perform from pre-recorded webinars, if at all? Great question, Melanie. So, no, they do not have to be presented live. You have a ton of options when you're running webinars, and this will certainly, my disclaimer that I always say, very dependent upon your buying cycle, very dependent upon your audience and your industry. All of that goes without saying. Here are some of the ways that I like to use different types of webinars. So what I like about live webinars like this is it allows me to, in real time, engage with you and connect with you in a real moment. We're actually sharing an experience here together. You're building trust. I'm building trust, I'm answering your questions, and you will likely leave this event in a very different state than when you started this event. You had questions coming in, you had a feeling of maybe pessimism coming in, maybe frustration even, and you're gonna leave in a different state, right? That's the goal. Now, that is also possible with pre-recorded content. Some hosts find it harder with pre-recorded content. And if you are not using, I can't stress this enough, if you are not using a webinar platform that offers you opportunities to engage with your audience, even with pre-recorded content, you're losing huge money on the table. You cannot put out pre-recorded content at the risk of, at the sacrifice of engagement and building trust and building connections with your audience. Can't do it. So Demio has great opportunities. All those cool little actions that Alex was firing off, he fired off featured actions, handouts, we have polls, all of that stuff. You can do all of that with pre-recorded content on Demio so that you still have the opportunity to really engage and connect with your audience. The other great way that people use pre-recorded content are for smaller teams who just don't have the bandwidth to be putting out live content all the time. The other benefit of pre-recorded content is to help you extend your live content. So after this event is finished, we will probably put the recording up because it's what we would call evergreen content. It's not really going to go out of style or out of date. We're going to put it up on our website and we're going to generate leads from it. We're going to generate other relationships from it. We're going to generate other customers from it. And we're going to continue to do that for as long as it works for us. So both is my answer. All of the above. You should have all of these different types of events inside your event strategy, if not only for the reason that you need to define what works for your business, but your audience has different preferences. Some of them are going to want the Netflix style of webinars, the on-demand webinar, where they literally show up at their leisure and watch the content whenever they want. Some prefer live because they get a little bit more out of it. Do all of the above. Great. Yay! Oh, Karen, I'm so glad. I'm so glad to hear that. Okay. Amazing. I can answer maybe one more question before we wrap up. I want to give you time back in your day. Also, this is an example where you don't need to run an hour-long webinar to have a successful one, right? We had 30 minutes of content, 10 minutes, 15 minutes of questions, and you are all engaged. You're all excited to be here. You know, I think that's just another thing to note here. All right, any other questions? Let's see. Good question. What emotion did you choose to tap into for this webinar for us? That's a good question. I'm going to go with pessimism. I think there is a narrative in the market right now that webinars are ineffective, right? Because we have all been on so many terrible webinars. I have been on terrible webinars. You have been on terrible webinars. I know it. And so there is a narrative that, well, if I'm seeing terrible webinars in the market, that must just mean maybe that channel doesn't work. Maybe that just isn't going to be something that works for conversion, and I should look at other content forms. So I bet you all probably came to this session today with a healthy level of pessimism, maybe borderline optimism, in kind of a show me what you got kind of way, right? And I really hope that I did that. I really hope that we showed you through this content that webinars, when done correctly and when reframed away from boring old college lecture presentations, when you really buy into the idea that webinars are incredible experiences, two-way channel experiences with your audience, what better way to build a relationship and sell a product? We all know that sales is based on building relationships. Why would marketing be any different? Our responsibility is the same, to impact pipeline, right? To drive revenue. So why would we suddenly think, well, we'll just kind of play up here at the top of the funnel and we won't worry about anything else? No, come on. Connections. Pessimistic to confident, great. With Demio, can you record the webinar and convert it to use on a website? Yep, you sure can. It's exactly what we do all the time. So this recording will generate both an MP4 file, video file for our use, and an automatic replay link for all of your use, where everyone will be able to easily access that content. You can throw it on your website. For the events that you run yourself with Demio, you can download that MP4 file. You can snip it up into little social media snippets to really extend the content. You could turn it into little audio clips for maybe a blog post. I mean, there's a million things that you can do with that recording, but yes, absolutely. Okay, team, I'm gonna let you all go on to your day. I'm so grateful that you spent time with us. Ashley at demio.com if you have any questions. Thank you so much for being here, and I can't wait to see you take advantage of those offers. So enjoy the rest of your week, and thank you so much, everybody. Be well.